In economic terms, every time we gain some security, we trade off something. The triangle here has different names. However, security is a balancing act. Every time we gain some security, we trade off something. When we double lock our front door, we trade off time. When we wear a seat belt, we trade off some convenience. In systems design, we often trade off performance and usability to gain security, which is to say that the more secure something is, the less usable or less performant it becomes. Such an understanding comes from a traditional thought process where computer users were thought of as experts. However, the security and usability is a trade-off is also becoming a myth given the amount of emphasis in trying to make security usable. Some of the examples to understand these trade-offs are an online banking transaction that requires a one-time password. Every time a user wants to transfer money to someone else, the user is required to enter a one-time password that is sent to his or her phone. Another model for banking transfer can be every time a new payee is added, the user is required to enter a one-time password. And for subsequent transactions, no one-time password is required as long as the payee is the same payee that was added through a one-time password model. Another model is to ask the user for a one-time password to enter into their online banking account. From then on, they do not need to enter a one-time password for anything else, as they have just authenticated with their one-time password during logon. Usability refers to the human aspects designed to make a person perform their task. The entry of one-time password can certainly be a stress on the usable aspects of a system to gain more security. But there are different models of one-time passwords that can be applied, and we can complement those models with robust fraud detection systems to improve usability. In the later chapters, we will also explore usability principles and their effects on security. But for now, thinking of usability aspects and performance of a system is as important as their security, as unusable security would lead to undesired behavior. To improve usability for authentication scenarios, there is also adaptive multi-factor authentication, which improves security to a greater extent without compromising the usability factor. Now let's look at these doors and identify which of these doors are usable, secure, and performant. Both the doors are made of the same material. The first door has 5 handles where each handle engages individual lock bolts attached to those handles. There are also 5 keyholes that need to be used when we need to have the doors unlocked. The 5 keyholes can either accept the same key or a different key for each keyhole. The second door, on the other hand, has one handle that engages all 5 lock bolts. There's only one keyhole that can be used to engage all the 5 lock bolts. The second door obviously is much more usable because of a good design. Is the second door much more secured compared to the first door? Well, think from an intruder's perspective. If an intruder has to boot the door by kicking through it and trying to break it, the effort of an attacker is the same for both doors. However, think about the effort of an intruder if the attacker is an expert in lock picking. How many locks needs to be picked in each doors? Oftentimes, there are no right or wrong approaches here. The most important question that we need to answer is whether we're making a door secure with the right amount of usability. And is this door sufficient enough to protect the assets that lie behind these doors? Let's go back to the multi-point door example, but this time, the door is simply an item on sale on a fictional website, www.bestbidsforyou.com, Let's see how we can hack this website now. www.bestbitsforyou.com has an item for sale, and it's a multi-point door. The username is Try Harder, and it is your username. You are keen on purchasing the multi-point door through bidding. The multi-point door has a minimum bid of $100, and the bid ends in 2 hours from now. With your username Try Harder, you start the bid with $100. Some other user bids for $103. You bid for $105. The other user, Ranger78, bids for $106. You bid for $110. Ranger78 bids for $112. You bid for $115. And seems like Ranger78 is also as interested as you are in purchasing the item. How'd you win the bid, considering that you are close to the bid end time? Let's start attacking the system now. So you go to www.bestbitsforyou.com login page. Enter the username as Ranger78, who's the user that is competing with you to purchase an item. After entering the username as Ranger78, you enter an incorrect password more than 3 times and have Ranger78's account locked out. Now that you've locked out Ranger78 out of the bidding competition, you can purchase the multi-point door at the price that is desired. Is this really a hack? How could we have prevented such a situation? What are some security controls that you can think of? Should the application disclose complete user IDs? Does it make sense for an internet-facing application to lock the user account after incorrect passwords? Should the user account be locked for 60 minutes? We have essentially abused a security feature of an application. That's it for this lecture. Let's move on to the next one.